Preparation and startup are key factors in the success and efficiency of a meeting. Before scheduling a meeting, you need to define its theme. It must be clear and precise, and above all well defined to avoid digressions. First of all, you need to define the objective of the meeting. It means the results you want to achieve or the deliverables you want to produce. Care must be taken to ensure consistency between the objectives set and the duration of the meeting. The objectives will vary according to the type of meeting you're organizing. They could be action plans for a progress meeting, or specifications for a work meeting, for example. You'll also need to carefully select the participants, so that everyone feels involved and can contribute something. The meeting will then be broken down into different work sequences, with a progression for achieving the objectives, and the way in which the work will be carried out. All this forms the plan for the meeting. All that remains is to plan the meeting, so that everyone is available and informed of its content, location and time. The documents required for the meeting to run smoothly should be sent to all participants beforehand. All this will be summarized in an agenda. It will state the type of meeting, and the title of the meeting, or the name of the project concerned. Then we'll have the date, time, duration, location, and invited participants. The purpose of the meeting and a provisional plan will be indicated. This agenda will be sent to the various participants well in advance of the meeting, so that they can prepare certain parts if necessary. The phases may differ depending on the type of meeting. We'll look at the phases specific to the most frequent types of meeting later on. There are, however, common phases to all meetings. The first phase is the introduction, during which the context, objectives and operating rules of the group are presented. If this is a first meeting, we'll add a roundtable introduction of the participants. Group work then proceeds according to the aforementioned objectives. At the end of each sequence and at the end of the meeting, a summary will be drawn up for the approval of all participants. At the end of the meeting, a meeting minutes will be drawn up and sent to all participants. Running an effective meeting requires a certain amount of skill on the part of the project manager. The role of the facilitator is fundamental to group dynamics. He or she must take into account the psychological, affective and social aspects of the group in his or her facilitation. He or she must be able to stimulate participants to produce the expected results, and manage the flow of ideas, so that everyone takes part in the debates. He must control time and results, deal with any conflicts and refocus the work on the objectives set at the outset. There are a number of questioning techniques that can be useful in moving a group forward. Open-ended questions allow you to gather as much information as possible, explore an area, and exchange ideas. Closed questions elicit an immediate response. Mirror questions enable the facilitator to refer the question to the group as a whole or to another participant, while echo questions send the question back to the person concerned to answer his or her own question. There are also a number of communication techniques, such as rephrasing to make an intervention more relevant, or follow-up to avoid leaving questions unanswered or without the expected response. Synthesis enables the moderator to give a short summary of important ideas, and silence is a non-verbal communication technique that sends a strong message through an attitude or a smile. It can also be a form of follow-up as the moderator expects more precision to the answer given. We're now going to detail the specifics of the types of meeting most frequently encountered in projects. The first is the kick-off meeting. This is usually held for every new project, and enables the team to meet for the first time, to get to know each other, and to gain a better understanding of the project. This is a high-stakes meeting, and needs to be well prepared. It's also a time for sharing and exchanging ideas, and a good way to get the team off to a good start. The project manager begins by introducing himself and the project customer. He'll go round the table so that everyone can get to know each other and introduce themselves. He will then present the project's challenges and objectives, and discuss them with the participants, to help them take ownership of the project. He will then set out the common ground rules for the whole team throughout the project. It means how meetings are to be held, how reports are to be made, and how information is to be shared. The macro planning will then be shared so that everyone can discuss and validate it. Finally, an initial short-term action plan is defined, and the meeting is brought to a convivial close. Progress meetings are an important part of team life and project management. The key players in the project are brought together on a regular basis as part of a ritual, which helps the team to stay together. The project manager begins with a general briefing on the project situation, followed by a tour of the participants' tables. Each person will explain how things stand in relation to what was planned, and report on any significant events concerning his or her part of the project. The consequences for deadlines, costs and project quality will then be included. Problems are then discussed, and if a rapid solution is found, it is incorporated into the action plan. In the case of complex problems, a specific problem-solving meeting should be scheduled with only the players concerned. At the end of the meeting, the project manager updates the schedule, budget and action plan. He updates his dashboard with project indicators. As we have seen, to deal with a major problem, the project manager organizes a problem-solving meeting with the participants affected, but may also invite guest speakers whose expertise may be useful. After presenting the problem and the objectives to be achieved, the next step is to identify the probable causes of the problem, analyze them, identify and select draft solutions, and then implement them. There is a specific chapter in this MOOC describing and detailing the most commonly used problem-solving tools. One very important element common to all meetings is the minutes. They summarize the key points discussed during the meeting. It serves to faithfully formalize what has been proposed and validated. The aim for the project manager is to send them to all the players involved for validation. It includes a minutes number, the date and place of the meeting. The agenda will describe the context, objectives, and points discussed. It will be noted whether the previous minutes have been validated by the stakeholders. Each point will then be discussed in detail and summarized in the form of an action plan. Finally, if necessary, the project schedule and appendices should be attached. A sample report can be downloaded here.